Good morning. Good afternoon. I did it again. Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Marlene Morris, and welcome to Spirit Central. I like to think of this as your weekly spiritual spa, your Sunday spiritual indulgence. We're here to help you feel better if you're feeling fine, and feeling even better than you started out. We're also here to help you feel better if you're feeling bad, and we can serve as a spiritual urgent care if that's what you need at any given moment. Ernest Holmes, the author of The Science of Mind and founder of religious science, used to open his television show with the words, "There is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it." True. And the greater fact is that you can't not use it, and that's what we really need to know. In fact, you're using it all the time. You're using it right now because, well, it's done unto you as you believe. Someone said that a very long time ago, and it has never changed. The important part of Dr. Holmes' admonition was to remember that to use that power for good, for good. So I'm going to ask you to go within for a moment and consider this, because in a few short sentences, it's kind of what we're all about. We are here to remember who we are. We are children of creation. We are here to remember that we are created in the image and likeness of creation itself. God, Allah, whatever you choose to call the creative motivating force of the universe, and I really don't think it cares what you call it. We are here to heal our misconceptions and to release whatever beliefs we may hold that are no longer serving us. We are here to learn how to use our divine inheritance to make our lives and our world better. We are here to be awake, to inspire, to uplift, to heal, and to make whole ourselves and our world. Now, I love to get you thinking right from the get-go, because the very last thing I want you to do is to leave your brain at the door. So here's today's question. It is officially now, I think, the holidays, the time we call the season of peace. Are you feeling peaceful or panicked? Are you feeling peaceful and poised, or kind of out of sorts? Are you feeling peaceful or rushed and well, maybe somewhat overwhelmed? Good. You've come to the right place. I'm going to talk about peace this morning. Not just because it's the season, but because it seems appropriate, given what we've all been through in the past 18 months, 2 years, given the time of year, and it feels necessary, given what so many people have told me about their lives in the last year or so. So, in the name of peace, I'm going to jump right into what I'm going to talk about today. And then when I'm done, let's chat about what I've said. And maybe what I've said will help you consider your answers to today's question. It is the season of peace. Are you feeling peaceful? So, let us go. Okay? Okay. You know, I don't talk about the Bible a whole lot. Not because I don't like it. I like it actually very much. I just think some of it is not clear to us. Possibly because of the languaging, possibly because it was written for people in a different time. And we can't read Old English and understand it well, and Well, let me just get on with this. In the Bible, in the book of Hebrews, it is written, "By faith we understand that the worlds have been framed by the word of God." By faith we understand that. What if, instead of considering it an engaging storybook, the Bible is, in fact, the Word of God? Oh, not the Word of God as in the Lord personally dictated every single word, and we must take it literally, and not a dot or a tittle may be changed ever. Not like that. That's certainly got nothing to do with my thinking. Rather, what if it is an accumulation of wisdom? The wisdom of many individual expressions of God. A book of wisdom that is meant to point the way for all of the children of God, regardless of where they are geographically situated. The children of creation, for each of us, all of us. What if it is meant to point the way for us to frame our worlds? Let me start at the beginning. It's always a good place. The beginning of the old book, the Old Testament. The book the Jews named Genesis. It reads, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. And the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, 'Let there be light.' And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were on the first day." Poetry. Using the premise that this is a book of instruction, let's look at what it says from that perspective. In the beginning, God, creation, first cause. We needed to give it a name, and God means good, and that's good. In the beginning, creation created the heaven and the earth. Heaven being where God, creation, abides, a place of absolute perfection, not necessarily a place up there or out there, but simply the place that contains, if creation can be contained, the place that creates, where creation lives. In the beginning, creation created the heaven and the earth. The heaven being the place that contains the ideal of every thought, every condition, every imagining. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So, you got it? There was nothing there. In fact, to borrow a thought from Gertrude Stein, I'll be with you. There was no there. It was a place of deep potential, certainly, but not yet any actual thing. And the Spirit of God, creation, moved upon the face of the waters. The Spirit of God, which is the essence of creation, moved across the deep, dark nothing and said, "Let there be light." And there was light. By its word, by the creative word, by saying that it was, light became. And God saw the light, that it was good. Light, illumination, enlightenment is good. And God divided the light from the darkness. Can't we do that? Don't we do that? Separate the light from the darkness? Separate what we can clearly see is good from what was there before? And please notice, God called the light good. But he didn't call the darkness bad. It was simply something else. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and both had their place. And the evening and the morning were the first day. It had been the way that it was for forever, up until that point. Up until the moment that there was a realization that there could be more. Perhaps up until then, creation simply hadn't noticed that there was nothing else out there. Or perhaps that was the moment when creation decided to go to work, after being basically unemployed for eternity. Doesn't really matter, does it? What we are told is that the emptiness finally got creation's attention. There was an awareness and a focus, a decision, if you will. And then a word was spoken. Notice it does not say that God said, sure would be nice if it wasn't so dark here. Or what the heck is PG&E doing? Don't they know there's a blackout? No, creation noticed the nothingness. And then there was the inner realization of how it could be different, how it could change. The creation said, all right then, let there be light. And because the awareness and the focus and the words were spoken to call forth a new reality, there was the realization, the actualization of those words. Change happened, just as it had been claimed. Let there be light. And there was light. What had never been before, according to the story. What, had there been skeptics, would have been called impossible. What, had there been anyone around to give an opinion, would certainly have been labeled as silly and foolish and unrealistic, because it didn't exist before, and why would it exist now? What all of that might have been became real, became light. Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, writes, realization is the conviction a person gets when he has persistently concentrated his attention on an idea until he feels assured of the fulfillment of that ideal. One more example, this slightly more recent than Genesis, the Gospel according to John in the New Testament. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word was in the beginning with God. All things were made by God, and without God was not anything made that was made. In him was life. And the life was the light of humanity. And the light shineth in the darkness. And the darkness comprehended it not, didn't get it. Yeah, allow me to translate. Because I think that is exactly what John was trying to do, translate the lesson of the old book in words that the people of his time could comprehend. In the beginning was the power of creation. The Word. Clearly not a word, because words weren't yet. But the power to call forth change in the physical world. To call forth change to the ideal, from the ideal that exists in heaven, or the place of perfection, call it what you will. This is not a physical space we're talking about, but a perfect place in the mind of creation itself. Imagine, if you will, hearing a song in your head or a line or something and speaking it out. And there it is, all of a sudden, it exists in the world. It was in your head a minute ago, and now it's out there. Now, sometimes it doesn't come out quite so perfectly, but we can see it. And once we can see it, we can work with it, can't we? So that power, that word, that calling forth, existed within creation itself and wasn't separate from it, wasn't something else, was part of creation. And we are told That light, that separation of the light from the darkness, is the light of humanity. And that light shines, even in the darkness. But in the darkness, it is not necessarily understood or recognized until it is called forth. The idea, spoken into the world, written into the world, painted into the world, may not be perfect the first time, but will show us what else needs to be done. So, here's another question for you today. What do you want? What do you want? In the big picture, what is missing in your world that you would like to call forth? I mean, it already exists in your mind. We know that, or you wouldn't know it wasn't in your world. You are aware of it as an idea. What do you want that's missing in your world that you would like to move from the ideal in your head into your existence? What would you like to see happen in this world to make it truly a heaven on earth? For the moment, just for practice sake, I'm going to choose something for us, if you don't mind, because I believe it's something that we all want, something we can all get behind, and certainly if you check in with the headlines, it's something the world really needs right now. I'm going to choose peace, individually and collectively. Okay? The peace that permeates everything, the peace that we all desire, but often fail to comprehend. But the peace that gratefully passes understanding and takes us all to a place where we can not only be, but are the peacemakers, the people of the promise. You see, it's difficult to solve the rest of the world's problems if we're warring, isn't it? But in times of peace, we're free to use our resources in more positive ways. So I'm choosing peace. And I really do believe it is attainable, not just in my life, although that's certainly a place to start, and not just in my world, not just for the moment, but for all time, for all people everywhere. And I know I must believe, I must have faith. In spite of the skeptics, in spite of the appearances, if it is ever to become a reality, I have to believe. So I do. Martin Luther King's words ring in my mind. It is no longer a choice between violence and nonviolence in this world. It's nonviolence or non-existence. That is where we are today. Dire words, scary words. Nonviolence or non-existence. An ominous prediction. And yet, don't you want peace? Don't we all want peace for a change? Gandhi said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. So, Gandhi's nephew helped create what is called the 64-day season for nonviolence, which begins on the day of Gandhi's assassination on January 30th and ends on the anniversary of Martin Luther King's assassination on April 4th. The purpose of the 64 days is to actually create greater world peace through nonviolent actions and nonviolent but creative thinking. Now, I've participated in the Season for Nonviolence every year since its inception in 1998. And I got to tell you, based on results, I've come to believe that it fails to achieve its goal because, well, here's my reasoning, because 64 days is simply not enough. It's nice. It's a good start. Perhaps if we were to truly focus on being and creating peace for the 64 days, we would experience 64 days of inner peace. That would be a good start. And if we were to truly focus each day for 64 days on being a place of peace, a creator of peace, we could change not only our lives, but maybe even a good part of the world. Perhaps. But then again, why limit our thinking and our focus to 64 days when there are 301 more days in every calendar year? 302 in a leap year. Days we could be living peace, creating peace. Please don't get me wrong. I think the 64-day season for nonviolence is a fine idea, and I support it and have done so for over 20 years now. But I think it may take more focus, more often, to actually see the results. In Jesus Christ Heals, Charles Fillmore, after giving a short lesson on how electricity works and explaining that in every expression of electricity, the loss of electricity in transmission is so great that only a small part of the original current reaches its destination. Then he goes on to say, we exist right in the midst of forces that would yield us power to do all our work if we knew how to conserve and properly utilize their energies. This is true, he wrote, not only in our use of the many elements in the natural world all around us, but especially in our utilization of the energy generated by our minds. With every thought, there is a radiation of energy. If a person is untrained in thinking, and lets his mind express all kinds of thoughts without control, and he not only uses up his thought stuff, but fails also to accomplish any helpful results. I did a seminar years ago where the leader of the group talked about vector splatter. It's stuck with me all these years. Vector splatter, in my very non-scientific way of explaining things, is about when something is shot out, but instead of going directly toward its goal, it just kind of goes everywhere. So I think what happens is we think peace. But we also think, oh yeah, but they'll never agree to that, and do I really want that in my life that way? And oh, incidentally, the laundry needs to be done, and there's a piece of lint on something that I need to take care of, and oh yeah, world peace. The world's never going to come to peace. And then we go back to our thought of today I'm going to think about being a peaceful person, and we're already vector splatter. It's everywhere. We need to focus. We need to learn how to focus. Focused attention forms a magnet in our mind to which actual substance rushes like iron filings to a lodestone. So here's my point. We must focus our attention on the presence of peace every day. Oh, come on, it's not so hard. There's lots of things you think about every single day, aren't there? My coffee, my glass of wine, my hangnail. We must focus our attention on the presence of peace every day. Not the lack of it, not how much we need it, because that just creates more need, but the actual presence of peace here and now. Let there be peace. If we are to see real results in the real world, peace in our world, and peace within our own hearts and minds, that's where it's got to start. Me thinking peace every day, the presence of peace every day, real peace every day, in my mind, in my life, in my world, peace. If we are to reframe our world with our thoughts and our actions and our words, we can only begin where we are at the beginning. And that, my friends, is within us, within ourselves. The beginning of anything starts here. Do you want peace? I mean, really, do you? Then you must be dedicated to being a place of peace. You must stand vigilant over your focus, your words, your thoughts, most importantly, your thoughts and your actions. In the beginning, the energy of creation itself moved across the nothingness and said, let there be light. There was no light previous to that. There was just a whole bunch of void and darkness. And yet, that creative thought was let there be light, and boom, light broke out. As in the beginning, awareness, focus, the calling forth and the inner realization of what may yet become a new reality creates. And there are things we can do to help ourselves. What does a world at peace look like? What's really going to happen? I can remember someone telling me one time that there'll never be world peace because it's not capitalistically a good idea. War is profitable. Well, lots of things are profitable. Many things are profitable. And a lot of those have gone away because something better came along. Did they know ahead of time what all the better might be? No, but some people probably imagined it. What does peace look like? What does your world at peace look like? How does it feel? How does it work? When is it a reality? Well, here's something. It becomes a reality when you call it into being. When you become so aware of it that you are living and thinking and moving and acting from that place of peace. The holidays are coming up. A lot of you will be leaving the busyness of your lives to go spend time with people you love. And others of you will be leaving what you love to go spend time with relatives. Everybody has their own experience. What if you brought peace into the situation? What if you just determined not to buy into the family drama or the workplace drama or the whatever, the drama? What if you just decided to be a place of peace? Period. I am going to be a place of peace during the holidays. I'll practice it. That gives me how many more days? Let's see, today's the 12th. You figure out the math. Gives me that many more days to practice being a place of peace. Get really clever about it if you want to take it all the way to Epiphany, January 6th. And just determine, be determined. And if you find yourself being not a place of peace, stop, take a deep breath, and go back into your determination. Commit to being a place of peace for however long. I think you're going to discover it feels so good to be there, even though it's a little bit of work in the beginning, that you're going to want to extend it. Maybe take it all the way to January 30th, to the season for peace, and then allow yourself to be a person of peace in the season of peace. And then, well, who knows what could happen from there. As in the beginning, today, right now, awareness, focus, the spoken word, and the realization of the power inherent within you will call forth a new reality. One more thought from Charles Fillmore, who said a lot of really good things. He wrote, "A great physical scientist stated recently that it may be that the gods that determine our fates are our own minds working on our brain cells and through them on the world about us." It may be that the gods that determine our fates are our own minds working on our brain cells and through them on the world about us. What if, he is saying, you contain the mind of God, of creation? The choice of peace, the awareness of peace within, the awareness of our own innate power to create peace, calls forth those gods, not just in our own minds, but ultimately in our world. And it can and will change our lives and our world for the better. It can't do any harm. It can't. We must come to know that peace is more than just an idealistic concept, and that it can become a reality if you call it into being. You, with your innate power, you, with your innate grace, you, with your powerful mind and generous heart, can make peace happen. You can change the world. You. And once you realize that you can change the world, well, what else might you do? If you're still looking for some inspiration or for instructions, perhaps, allow me to offer this. Not my words. It was written by Max Ehrmann and originally published in 1927. He calls it desiderata, which means things that are desired. He writes, "Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be a greater and lesser person than yourself. Enjoy your achievements, as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere, life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially, do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive God to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. And I would add, allow yourself to be at peace and a peacemaker. They call December the season of peace. For you and yours, I pray you will make it so. Hi, my friends. Hey, Kirk. The border of peace and panic. That's an interesting place to live. May I suggest you jump right in to the peace side. Just claim it for yourself. Let there be peace. Damn it. Peace, now, right now, in my life, in my mind, right now. Jennifer's peaceful but a little whelmed. I like that. Not overwhelmed, just a little whelmed. Glad you're here, Dana. Oh, I think peace can very well be movement. And, Heidi, I strongly suspect that when we claim peace, things are liable to get a little shaky for a while. You know, anytime you want change. Anytime you want change. That, that swamp keeper, guy that lives up there that doesn't like any kind of change, really? May fight you for it. But if you are convinced, if you are determined, if you are committed to creating change in your life, change will happen. And change for peace, change for good, change for love. Just keep knowing that yes, this may look a little chaotic, but, you know, the poet said it's always darkest before the dawn. Yeah. Kirk, I love you. Indeed, Dana, blessed, blessed. And, you know, we tend to read it that way because that's the way we were taught it, isn't it? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. But what if it's blessed, which is how we spell it today? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God, the children of creation, the children of life, the children of beauty, the children of, yeah, you know, think of the synonyms you have for God. You might make a list. That'd be a nice December project. Make a list of all of your synonyms for God, you know, and you can put down the 1,000 names of God if you want. But I'm thinking about going to things where, making a list of those things where you look at it and go, yep, God's there. Boy. Can you think about Hazel Rose and not see God? First thing on your list, maybe, huh? And your other children, and the ocean, and the sky, and the forests, and the flowers, and just go for it. Make your list of those things that absolutely tell you that God is present. That there had to be, there still is a God. Look at each other. Look in the mirror, if you will. If you don't see it when you look in the mirror, go take a walk, get full of it again, and then come on back and look in the mirror again. Okay? Make a list of other names for God, but that are truly for you symbols of the presence of God. Give yourself that gift. Give yourself the gift of the presence of God. Oh, well, there's next weekend's talk. The present of the presence. Now, I'm in a real holiday kind of mood, I gotta tell you. If you've been hanging around for a length of time, you know that my kids collectively, and now grandkids, it just seems to keep growing, and spouses, special people, come to Grandma's house for the holidays. It started when we lived in Cambria, and they would literally go over the fields and through the woods to Grandmother's house. And we would rent them all a house because ours wasn't large enough or accommodating enough to hold everybody, and it certainly isn't now. We would rent them a house, and they would all come up and stay together and be with us and stay up all night reconnecting with each other, and we could go home and go to bed. And when we moved to Ventura, they took over finding a house and doing that, but we always do it usually right after Thanksgiving. So we kick off the holidays, which I love, because then you don't have to be compared to or compare yourself to anyone else. You just do it your way, and then we're all really in the holiday spirits. It's like now we're in the holidays. We started Christmas this weekend, and gratefully the city of Ventura has a street fair usually the same weekend, so it fills up one full day just walking in and out of the street fair. That's where I got this. We just had a ball. They're all on their way homes now. My oldest son and his sweet and wonderful creative wife drove in from Texas, and are starting their trip home today. The others still live in California, so they'll be home by sometime this afternoon, depending upon how many stops they make. But it was great seeing the kids and the grandkids, and put me in the mood. I had a wonderful time. And my Texas daughter-in-law gave us a wolf, real live wolf. We adopted a wolf. And Santa gave me a reindeer. So I have a reindeer for Christmas and for the whole year. And she's beautiful. She's really lovely. I can't wait. She lives in Scotland, so I'm going to have to go to Scotland to go for a walk with her. But I'm already planning that. It's been a wonderful start to the season. And I'm already filled with joy and expectation of good and happiness and warm and cozy feelings. And so think on these things. is what I'm saying, really. Think on the things that bring you joy. Think on the things that bring you happiness. Think on the things that remind you of love and all the good stuff that spirit is. And don't waste time thinking on the other. Don't go there. All right, hold on. I'm going to check back in with what you guys are talking about because I went off on my little tangent. Okay, Jennifer, that's funny. I say whelmed because there's a part of me that says I should be doing more, doing frantic things. Okay, so, here's what to do. Stop for a minute, close your eyes, connect with that part of you that's saying that and tell it to shut up. Say, I don't should be have to do anything. I'm going to enjoy this season. Hazel Rose licked or took a bite out of everything. I love that. And you didn't try to stop her. Good for you. We had, my kids all brought their pets in addition to their children. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs. And we left ours at home because one of them's pretty antisocial. So this is going to be remembered as the year of the dog, I'm sure. But they were terrific. They were terrific. Okay, hold on. Hazel Rose licking or taking a bite out of everything. I can just see that. She's just at the perfect age. She does that at 20. You might tell her to stop. Right now, sure. Well, I think that's the whole thing, Heidi. Start with your definition of peace. Start with creating peace within you. Because if you are dedicated to being a center of peace, you are going to find a way to merge with all of those other ideas. Peace that passes understanding. That goes beyond that. Should have does get messy, doesn't it? Yeah. So we need to stop shitting. Cough. I have been laughing at children, some of whom are and have been adults for quite some time, for 3 days. So I had such a good time, like I do with you. More children. More beautiful places where God is. My daughter made us all a fabulous dinner. And there was a beautiful, beautiful centerpiece on the table, which we were informed was ours when we went home. So me and my wolf and my reindeer and my love and my centerpiece and a whole bunch of fabulous presents left happy. More dogs. Lots of dogs. 5 dogs we had. And they all got along pretty well. There were a couple of them that decided right at the very beginning they didn't care for each other. And, when they passed, they kind of went, but that's as bad as it ever got. I think it would have been crazy. Well, our dog would not have. The antisocial one would have just been miserable, and she's been kind of unhappy lately anyway, so we think she may have some mental problems. No, we're quite sure she has some mental problems, but we're kind of concerned about how they are affecting her right now, but that's neither here nor there. So, heck, Paula's the dogs outnumber the humans. Well, we've had it where the pets certainly, well, the pets here right now outnumber the humans, but we're still sort of in control. Give Paula my love. She's good people. She's really good people. So, prayer requests. Prayer requests. We're down to the last 9 minutes, and I want to pray. So, let me know what you want more of in your life or in your world. No holds barred. What do you want? Talk to me. If all things are possible, what do you want? Hmm? Thank you, Heidi. What do you want? We are in the season of peace. We are in the season of giving. We are in the season of love. We're right smack in the middle of all of it. So, what do you want out of it? What do you want to say changed in your life for the better this holiday season? What can we be praying for? I've got a couple. Heidi got it. What else? I have found a way to reword that just a little bit. Forgive the quietness. I'm just making sure I don't miss anybody. I love that, Kirk. I'm going to start praying. If you think of something, got it, Jennifer. Okay. I'm going to start. If you think of something more, just feel free to put it in the comment box, and I'll do my very best to catch it. And even if I miss it, God gets it. Focus your attention inward, whether that means you close your eyes or soft focus, or do what you need to do. And take a breath, either a gentle breath or a great big breath, whatever your body needs and wants. Do that. Go to that place of peace within you. That place that cannot get rattled, that place that is strong and vital and active in your life, always. And when you are there, know with me that you are never alone. No one is ever alone. God is where you are right now. And God is wholeness and artistry and beauty and wisdom and peace and love. And I know that as on the first day, when that energy, that force, that goodness said, let there be light, so it exploded into millions and trillions and zillions of particles and became planets and stars and you and me. And we are each that power, that wonder, that light that was born on the first day, expressing itself uniquely, beautifully in life as us. And I know that that power that spoke light into being on that very first day lives within each one of us. And that as we speak our word, as we claim a new reality, so that becomes. Just as light became, just as everything else followed, so light is the beginning, and light is the enlightenment and the awareness that something needs to be different. And so it is. Because we shed the light on it. And so I speak my word as creation did on the very first day, and I know that that which I claim becomes reality. I know that. And so I claim for Patricia Michelle health, wholeness, healing, clarity, peace. Peace. I claim for Heidi that all of the resources that are needed to support her project are released now. There's no holdup. The presence supports her completely, creates her perfect organizing skills, lights up her memory. And all of that is supported by the universe in expected and unexpected ways. The light is on. I know for Jennifer, peace and financial security and time for joy, time for everything that is good. I know for Kirk that his friend Jim's family absolutely knows that he was loved by everyone who knew him. And that all of his friends remember his smile and his laugh, and it warms their hearts and brings them peace, as it does to the family and as it does for Kirk. He is bathed in the warmth of that memory, and it brings him joy. I know for Kat, the success of her projects, that the right people and the right time all come together perfectly. And that there is joy and satisfaction and peace in her mind about all of that. The peace that comes from knowing it is good and very good. I know for Dana, continued patience, but also a love that overcomes any objectivity. I know there is peace in her heart and peace in her mind, and that she knows that only the highest and greatest good is happening, and simply lets go and lets God, and falls gracefully into the embrace of love. And I know that for Chris, he finds his way. That he recognizes that things are different, but that he knows how to work around that. And that he too now is at peace. I know for Chris, just peace of mind. And that what was frustration simply melts into an awareness of the presence and of peace. I know for Amir, the perfect match, that this kidney transplant comes through exactly as it should, and the perfect match is found and all comes together well, and that it is blessed. And I know for the world, peace. I know we have cluttered that up a bit, but I know God can get around even our mistakes, just as we can get around our own. I know peace. And I know for all of those who have stayed silent but still hold hope in their hearts, that hope becomes the realization of their deepest dreams and aspirations. And I know that in this season of peace, wonderful things happen, so many wonderful things, that we insist upon keeping the peace and creating more peace and being agents of peace. And we simply let go of any ideas that we hold to the contrary and allow peace to be so. And gratefully, so it is. We have a closing song. You may have to back up just a little bit to find it. But it's there, and all you have to do is click on it. It's a perfect song. I love you all. Have the most wonderful week. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting this ministry. I am very, very grateful for all of your gifts of love and presence, and that's Presence, I think. I am grateful for you. I am grateful for your love. I am so very, very grateful for your presence here on Sundays and on Wednesday, and I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll be here at 7 o'clock Wednesday night and again next Sunday at noon. I love you all. Go make the world a better place and be a presence of peace. Don't forget to listen to the song.